Strobe Studios presents Michael Helgens and Greg Kilberger in The Watson Files. Coming to you from the illustrious Strobe Studios in the heart of America, this is Craig Dahlen. And now, let's join the doctor and see what story he has for us today.
Come in.
Evening, Doctor.
Yes, come on in, Craig.
It's nice to finally be able to wear a light jacket again.
Indeed. It seems that spring has arrived after all.
For a while there, I wasn't even sure we'd ever get rid of this snow.
Indeed.
So, I believe last week you mentioned another exciting adventure you had after returning from England.
Yes. We had been back for only a day when Dr. Samuelson called Holmes in to consult on a case.
Dr. Samuelson, the medical examiner, right?
Correct.
Ah, so it's a murder mystery that we're dealing with then.
So it would seem. Samuelson had the unfortunate task of looking into the death of his assistant.
His assistant?
Yes, she had been working with him for almost a year and had recently gone missing. Holmes asked me to accompany him to the morgue, knowing that I have a leg up on him in the medical arena, and when we arrived, Samuelson was busy opening up another body. So, Holmes, what did Samuelson tell you about the case when he called?
Just that he was on his way back from the crime scene and needed my assistance.
Well, hopefully we can help.
Dr. Samuelson.
Ah, Spencer, thank you for coming. And Jack, I'm glad to see you as well.
Of course. What seems to be the problem?
Well, as you may know, my assistant went missing a few days ago.
I wasn't aware.
We've been out of the country for about a week now.
Ah, well, Kasey's been working with me for about 10 months or so now, and on Tuesday she didn't show up for work.
Has this ever happened before?
No, never. That's why I was so concerned.
And now you found her body, then?
Well, no, actually.
I don't understand. I thought you were at the crime scene this morning.
Indeed I was. We found where she was killed, but someone moved the body.
Then perhaps she's not dead.
Highly unlikely. There was entirely too much blood for her to have survived.
I see. So you think the killer dumped her body elsewhere?
That's the theory. We also found the van used to kidnap her.
And?
Unfortunately, it had been subjected to a substantial fire that destroyed any physical evidence.
And what would you like us to do?
Well, we believe we know who the killer is.
Really?
Yes, we're quite certain.
Ah, Max, thanks for joining us.
Of course. Morning, Spencer. Jack.
Officer?
So, who's the suspect?
This case has all the signs of the Red Light Ripper.
The Red Light Ripper?
But that means...
Yes, we think Marty's back at it again.
I thought for sure he would remain underground for a while.
But I don't understand. The Red Light Ripper killed prostitutes. That's how he got the name.
Yes, well, Kasey had turned her life around.
So, she used to be...
Yeah, she gave up the life a few months before I hired her and was enrolled at the community college in a pre-med program. She was working here to pay for her classes.
That's rather ambitious. From prostitution to medical school.
That's what I thought as well, but she was very bright and seemed quite determined. And I believe her husband was a big factor in her life changes.
She was married?
Yes, the week before starting work for me, actually. I'm pretty sure meeting him was what prompted her to turn her life around.
But even given her former occupation, I don't see why Marty would kidnap and kill her. I mean, he killed the other women in an effort to get to Holmes. What does this gain him?
Maybe he's mocking us. You know, killing someone in law enforcement just to rub it in that he escaped.
Perhaps.
You disagree?
What evidence is there pointing to the professor?
Well, when Samuelson came to me on Tuesday because Kasey didn't come into work, I didn't think much of it.
Until?
There was a 911 call that morning about a woman being grabbed off the street and shoved into a van. When I looked into it some more, it turned out to be just down the street from her apartment.
Surely that's not a coincidence.
One wouldn't think so. So I drove out to interview the lady that called it in, and I noticed that she was grabbed across the street from a grocery store. You know, that Mexican one on 5th?
Yes, they sell some of the best tortillas there.
Yeah, they also have a camera in the parking lot.
So you have a tape of the abduction?
Yep, you can see the whole thing quite clearly.
And you can see Professor Marty.
Well, no, but...
Then how do you know he's involved?
Well, the van that they used is the same one they took you two in.
But I thought that was in the impound.
It was, until last Saturday.
Someone stole it.
And you didn't tell me?
I called, but you weren't home.
Yes, we were out of the country on another case.
I see. Well, in any event, we thought at the time that there must have been something hidden in the van that he wished to retrieve. But now I'm thinking it was just another slap in the face.
He steals his van out of the police impound, then kidnaps and murders my assistant. He's taunting us.
Where did you say she was murdered?
In that warehouse down by the docks where he took all his other victims.
I remember that place. It smelled like syrup.
All right. Well, I think I'd like to visit the warehouse and take a look for myself. If he's really trying to taunt me, he will have left some sort of clue behind.
Of course. I can take you over there right now.
Excellent. I would prefer to have as many people along as possible this time.
Happy to help.
I'm having some unsettling flashbacks here, Holmes.
Oh, Watson, don't be so dramatic. The last time we were here, it resulted in me shooting Professor Marty. So I'd say those flashbacks should be encouraging.
Yes, well, you seem to have glossed over a few details there.
It's over here.
Yes. That is a lot of blood.
And what made you look for the girl here in the first place?
Well, once we suspected Marty was involved, it seemed like the most obvious location. I mean, this is where he brought all his other victims.
What are you thinking?
Well, it's just as the officer said, it's the most obvious location.
And if he were taunting us, then he'd want us to find the scene.
Yes?
So then what's the problem?
Well, it just doesn't seem too imaginative is all.
Well, imaginative or not, I haven't got a single lead that points to anyone other than the professor.
A valid point, sir. I think I'll have a look around if you don't mind.
Be my guest.
So, what do you think, Watson?
Well, certainly no one could have survived after losing this amount of blood in one sitting.
So you believe the girl is dead, then?
I wouldn't go quite that far. I said the person that lost this amount of blood is surely dead.
Ah, very good, Watson. Thinking outside the box.
Well, I would say the odds are good it is hers, but...
Blood test confirms it's her type.
And you didn't think to mention that earlier?
Well, I told you we found her blood. I just thought perhaps you would trust that we've done our job.
No offense, Max, but when it comes to an investigation, I trust only that people will miss the most obvious evidence, even if it is right in front of them.
Holmes, I can assure you that...
You can assure me of nothing.
What are you driving at, Holmes?
Well, for starters, the girl wasn't killed here.
But all the blood...
Okay, then explain to me why there is no blood anywhere else in the room.
What do you mean?
Well, where is the body?
We didn't find any bodies on the premises.
So then they took the body with them. I don't see any drag marks.
So they carried her.
And not a single drop of blood fell anywhere between here and the door?
Well...
Exactly.
So, then how do you explain the blood?
All in good time, Watson, all in good time. But right now I think we should have a chat with that news crew sitting outside.
What? Holmes, you can't...
Just bear with me for a moment.
But this is an open investigation. You can't give the press any...
Don't worry, I won't reveal any of our leads. Excuse me, Miss,
Blevins.
Yes, that's it. I'd like to make a statement, if that's all right.
Oh, yes, of course. Jimmy, bring the camera. Has there been a new development?
Yes, the van used to kidnap Mrs. Benton has been found.
Yeah, we already know about that.
But what you don't know is when the car was set on fire, presumably to destroy evidence, that only the back was burned. The front half of the vehicle remains intact, and it now sits in the police impound waiting for processing.
Have you found any fingerprints?
Well, that's what we're hoping for. Unfortunately, things can get backed up sometimes, but we'll get to it as soon as possible.
Why was the medical examiner here?
That's all I have to say right now. Thank you.
Has her body been found?
Holmes, what was that all about?
That van was destroyed. There's no way we can find any fingerprints.
Yes, well, I may have exaggerated things a bit, but you'll thank me later. Now we must hurry to the impound before this report goes out over the air.
I don't see how this is helping us catch the killer.
Just be patient. He will be here soon.
Holmes, why would Professor Marty risk coming here to cover up evidence? It doesn't make any sense.
The whole reason for using the van in the first place was so that we would know it was him.
Nevertheless, I remain confident that this will work.
But won't he recognize the doctor?
Yeah, why am I posing as the lot attendant?
Well, since you two are so sure he's not coming, it shouldn't be a problem, right?
Well, I can't spend all day sitting around here.
Someone's coming.
All right, let's stay out of sight, Weathers.
Afternoon.
How's it going?
Well, you know, same old, same old.
Yep, well, I'm supposed to be picking up that van that got burned.
Oh, right. You got some paperwork?
No. Here's my security badge. Name's Kasey.
Ah, you're with the ME's office.
Yep, he's supposed to be checking it for blood and stuff, I guess. I don't really know. I'm just the errand boy.
Dr. Samuelson sent you over here? Why didn't he call and let us know you were coming?
Yeah, that sounds like him. Forget for old coot. You can give him a call if you'd like.
I don't think that will be necessary.
What?
Jason, right?
Oh, Officer Weathers,
Step out of the vehicle, please. We need to have a little talk.
It's not what it looks like.
We can discuss it inside.
All right.
Stop!
Dispatch, this is 386. I need a bolo on a silver Ford, license 782 GRQ. Suspect is Jason Benton.
Benton?
Yes, he's Kasey's husband.
Her husband? But why?
Well, I think it's quite obvious, Watson.
He's working for the professor.
Professor Marty was never involved with this supposed kidnapping and murder.
Supposed?
Yes, I like your enthusiasm, Weathers, but the gunshots were quite unnecessary this time.
Don't worry, I was aiming for the tires.
Yes, but let's hope you didn't inadvertently dislodge the GPS tracker I stuck to the back of his car while Watson was distracting him.
A GPS tracker? So, you knew he would run.
Well, it seemed like a probable response to being cornered. I felt it was a situation worth being prepared for.
Well then, shall we go get him?
Indeed. See, there's the car.
Good work, Holmes. Hold it right there. Put the bag down slowly.
How'd you find me?
We bugged your car.
Where's Kasey?
She's safe, don't worry.
Where are you keeping her?
No, you don't understand.
The whole thing was a sham, wasn't it?
Jason, did you remember to... Oh, thank goodness you found me!
Save it, they know.
Was it the life insurance you're after?
Yeah.
And now you're under arrest.
But no one really got hurt, so...
Nice try.
So, there was never any kidnapping?
No, they staged the whole thing.
And the van?
They stole it to make us think Marty had done the kidnapping.
And the blood at the warehouse?
Well, she worked for the medical examiner who drains the blood out of the bodies. She simply waited for someone with her blood type to come in and used that.
And so there were no drag marks or blood drops because they poured the blood onto the floor.
Correct.
That was very clever of them. So, how did Holmes figure it out?
He said that the evidence pointed to Professor Marty so well that someone must have intended for it to be that way.
In other words, the case was too good.
Basically, yes. Kasey obviously would have known many of the details surrounding the red light murders. So Holmes suspected that she might be involved.
And he figured she was working with the husband?
Well, he was unsure of the accomplice at the time. Hence the announcement on TV to flesh out whomever might have left evidence in the van.
Well, that was very intriguing. I can't wait to hear what you have for us next week.
Yes, next week I'm going to tell you about our adventure that involves a swordfish, a treasure map, and the Statue of Liberty.
Well, that sounds exciting. Tonight's Watson Files adventure was written by Scott Strosahl. Spencer Holmes and Dr. Watson were played by Michael Helgens and Greg Kilberger. Additional voices were performed by Steve Rimpici and Kasey Strosahl. Until next week, this is Craig Dahlen saying good night from Strobe Studios.
Samuelson was busy.
Bizzity boppity boo. The boppity boo.
I see.
Oh, sorry. Samuelson got a page.
Do you need to get that, sir? All right. Really? That was my surprise. Really?
That's exactly what I heard. I was like, when did Scooby-Doo arrive? He's a good detective too, though.
That's right.
Someone I respect.
And I'm recording, so if you guys want to.
Oh, now you've done it. Only goes so far. I got a little greedy.
There you go.
Okay.
It's a good thing I hit record.
Yeah.
I got my sound effect in case we ever have somebody moving a music stand.
Mr. Dahlen and Dr. Watson are trying to fix the music stand.